Founders Notes, Edition 28, Week 11, Legacy. What still breathes when you stop speaking. Prologue, the weight of continuity. Every founder must one day face the truth that what he has built will one day exist without him. It is a sacred realization, not a tragedy, but a test. Because endurance is not a gift, it is a discipline. And legacy, contrary to what most believe, is not a monument left behind. It is a living system that remembers, a rhythm designed to outlast the voice that set it in motion. Legacy is not what you own after you leave. It is what continues in spite of your absence. The question then is not whether you will be remembered. It is whether what you built will still remember why it was built. Because the true measure of a founder is not how loudly his name echoes in the hall, but how quietly his principles endure in the hands of those who remain. The nature of legacy in the founder's craft. Legacy is often mistaken for inheritance, the passing down of assets, reputation, or recognition. But inheritance without design decays. A true legacy is not a handover of possessions. It is a transfer of rhythm. The average founder spends a lifetime building outcomes. The wise founder builds systems of remembrance. Because wealth may build comfort, but legacy builds continuity. The two are not the same. Inheritance is static. It transfers what you had. Legacy is dynamic. It transfers what you believed. Inheritance fades in use. Legacy renews in practice. It is not nostalgia that keeps legacy alive. It is iteration, the ability to adapt without betrayal, to evolve without erosion. Legacy is not repetition. It is remembrance renewed through relevance. It is the invisible current beneath the visible structure, the moral architecture that allows the enterprise to change shape without losing its vow. And this is why the founder must not ask, "Will they remember me?" He must ask, "Will the rhythm still guide them when I am gone?" The founder's relationship with legacy. Legacy tests not only what we build, but who we are while building it. Every founder carries within him 4 possible stances, 4 ways of relating to what he will eventually leave behind. Each reveals a different understanding of responsibility, control, and faith. 1. The collector, the weight of vanity. The collector mistakes memory for immortality. He hoards influence, admiration, and symbols of success, awards, titles, photographs. But the collector's legacy dies with his calendar, because memory preserved for admiration alone cannot breathe. He wants to be remembered for what he did, but forgets that the world only remembers why something mattered. 2. The curator, the trap of perfection. The curator freezes time to protect what he built. He codifies processes, manuals, and doctrines so tightly that no one can alter a word without guilt. But perfection is not preservation, it is paralysis. He mistakes rigidity for respect, while forgetting that if a legacy cannot adapt, it cannot endure. The curator's intention is noble, but his design is brittle. He forgets that the strength of any living system is its ability to breathe. 3. The controller, the fear of irrelevance. The controller cannot release what he built. He stays too long, shadows too deeply, and commands even after his season has passed. He mistakes control for care, believing the work will collapse without his constant hand. But what he calls protection is often fear. Fear that what he made will evolve beyond his design. He confuses stewardship with ownership, forgetting that the act of holding too tightly suffocates what it was meant to preserve. And so, the controller's legacy ends not with betrayal, but exhaustion. 4. The custodian, the rhythm of continuity. This is the rarest stance, the founder who learns to remain through his principles, not his presence. The custodian builds structures that remember even when people forget. He codifies rhythm, not rigidity. He nurtures stewards, not dependents. He does not fear succession, because succession is his final creation. The custodian's voice fades, but his vow remains audible in every system, decision, and ritual that still carries his moral architecture. He understands that the goal was never permanence. It was continuity. Legacy as the silent architecture of continuity. Legacy does not live in documents. It lives in design. Every ritual that endures, every principle embedded into governance, every rhythm that renews itself, these are its hidden foundations. Legacy is the invisible architecture that holds the form when the original hands are gone. In a world obsessed with disruption, this truth is revolutionary. Continuity is not stagnation, it is stewardship in motion. A structure endures not because it resists change, but because it has been designed to remember what must never change. This is why the founder must design not only for performance, but for permanence of principle. Governance that protects the vow. Culture that recalls intention through rhythm. Technology that embeds moral memory into system design. People who carry not just the skill, but the spirit. Legacy is built where architecture meets conscience. It is not a department, it is a discipline. Because the moment the enterprise can act rightly in the founder's absence, the vow has succeeded. Practical application. Building legacy that outlives you. Legacy cannot be improvised. It must be engineered. Below are 5 practices for founders who wish to turn remembrance into rhythm. 1. The Founder's Charter of Continuity. Transform your founding principles into a living document that defines purpose, values, and non-negotiables. Revisit it annually with your successors. Each revision must clarify, never dilute. 2. The Circle of Stewards. Legacy requires people who think in decades, not quarters. Build a core circle of stewards, people trusted not for loyalty to you, but for loyalty to the vow. They are the keepers of rhythm when storms arrive. 3. Ritualize the remembering. Memory fades without ceremony. Institutionalize reflection through annual vow days, story sessions, and renewal councils. Rituals make legacy tangible. They remind people not just what they do, but why. 4. Codify the why in every system. Every process should preserve a piece of conscience. Every system should trace back to intention. Build dashboards that track promises, not just performance. Because metrics measure scale, but only memory measures worth. 5. Train for succession while you lead. A founder's greatest failure is a structure that cannot stand without him. Mentorship is not delegation, it is transference of rhythm. Prepare successors who can question as you once did, and protect what you once carried, not with imitation, but with integrity. Closing whisper. What still breathes. Legacy is not what you leave. It is what remains alive. It is not the echo of your name, but the continuation of your vow. And when the time comes to step away, and you see your people still aligned, your rhythm still steady, your culture still whole, you will understand the miracle of continuity. Because what you built was never yours to keep. It was yours to prepare. Legacy is the final act of love. The moment you stop building for yourself and start building for those who will come after. It is not about being remembered. It is about being revered through rhythm. And when you are gone, the silence will not be emptiness. It will be music, the sound of your vow still breathing. Dimitris, founder and torchbearer.